you got really the tale of two narratives here. On one narrative, Ciryl Gane is a heavyweight that John Jones has never seen before. This is a new era. He hasn't fought the hybrid guys, so they say, right? And also, let's not forget, John Jones' first fight at heavyweight. Who's to say what he was doing at 205 is going to be translatable, applicable to a Ciryl Gane who fights outside of the pocket 90% of the time until he just does enough to explode, get in, and then knock you out or put you down, submit you, heel hook you, whatever the case may be, man. How high are you on John Jones returning to peak form as opposed to maybe something else that we're just not accustomed to seeing?
That's the question, Derek. Peak form versus this somewhat gooey John Jones, if you will. I mean, he even said it himself. He usually judges his character or how ready he is by the shape of he is in, his form. But now he's kind of walking around with a little bit of a tummy. He's really, you can see the old John Jones is hungry, but he's still shocked, man. You can see a little bit of this new stuff. There's a lot of talk going around where he's, always in pools, he's recovering, had a short flight, all this X, Y, and Z about John Jones, what he's going to do in the cage. But as history has shown, I mean, this dude can do anything. The youngest UFC champion in the world, beats everybody at their own game, basically undefeated, except, the rules have to come in for that 12-6. So Matt Hamill has one on him. But as a lot of people like to think, John Jones is undefeated, man. And it's one of the few people where he can do anything at any point, even if he hasn't done it before. He can still pull it and make moves happen when we haven't seen him do. Now, going against Ciryl Gane, Derek, the one thing that worries me is Ciryl Gane's a world-class kickboxer. And if we remember the past that John Jones has, his last couple fights, he really highly relied on his striking. He didn't really do too much wrestling. He did when he needed to. He got hurt in the Gustafsson, depended on his wrestling. Gustafsson's not the best wrestler. Now, will he be able to do that against Ciryl Gane, or do you think the wrestling's gone? Do you think maybe John Jones has lost the wrestling a little bit, lost that strength? Now that he's wrestling big boys, he's going to have an even harder time wrestling, or we're going to see a classic Jones here? What do you think?
Well, I think it'd be a hell of a whole fight week lead up if he's been talking about nothing but wrestling and then just doesn't wrestle, right? He keeps saying it. He's like, listen, man, this is MMA. Same thing Shevchenko's saying. This is MMA. This is not kickboxing. This is not just a striking contest. And that's my whole point. Ciryl Gane is so excellent in staying outside of the pocket, not being hittable, and then only hitting you when you're at a point where you can't hit him back, right? So I think that that style is going to be very interesting against John Jones, but if he can move forward, initiate clinches, his trips have been phenomenal since his first fight in the UFC. You know what I mean? Let's not forget, in the first fight against Daniel Cormier, he took Cormier down 3 times. Daniel Cormier. I'm not talking about just Joe Schmo off the street. I'm not talking come on, man. We're talking about I'm looking through. Actually, let's take a look together really quickly, folks. For the uninitiated, those who aren't really too familiar with John Jones' career. I mean, look, Dominic Reyes, he took him down twice. Anthony Smith took him down 3 times, took down Gustafsson. In the one where I think this was the head kick knockout against Cormier. Yeah, no takedowns. You don't need it when you're over there just, flatlining somebody with a kick. But he took down everybody, man. Ovince St. Preux, Daniel Cormier, Glover Teixeira, Gustafsson again, Chael Sonnen. Need I go on? I guess that's the point. Do I even need to go on? Now, I'm worried about one thing in particular, man, because the people have tried it against him before, but one thing Ciryl Gane is really good at is, once again, staying outside range, but just picking at your legs the whole fight. And you know who else did that very effectively? Thiago Santos. So what do you think John Jones is going to be able to do to mitigate that part? Because you have to be honest, that was not a large part of the MMA Rolodex, whatever you want to call it, when John Jones was really doing his thing. So how does he battle that? Because he take out his legs, you can't wrestle no more.
And especially with a Jones who has a notoriously skinny leg frame. I mean, everybody gives him shit for the chicken legs, and they hit hard, man. A lot of bone is in there, but it's a give and a take, right? Now, Ciryl Gane, I think the one thing that gives John a little favor here, he has the longest reach in the UFC. He has the distance. He can maintain it, and I think he has a speed advantage. We'll see, because Ciryl Gane is fast and he stays bouncy, so that one's going to be tested. I'm not exactly sure if he does have the speed advantage. You want to think so, but you haven't seen him move in 4 years. You haven't seen how it goes. You have no idea if the old substances are still helping or not. This might be a younger or an older Jones, and it's going to be interesting to see, man. It worries me. What worries me about this fight most, Derek, is Ciryl Gane can just kind of rest on his laurels, stay on the bike, stay outside, let the nerves of the fight keep going for Jones, and basically, stall as long as you can. And then when Jones gets a little like lackadaisical, then go in, then really start to have a Ciryl Gane kind of a fight and that kind of a kickboxing touch back and forth. I don't know if John Jones wins that fight. I'd imagine he does with the refs. Who knows? From the judges, but it's interesting to think that he can, at least Ciryl Gane can outpace and outmaneuver John Jones. Do you agree he can do that, or was he just going to be cutting off corners left and right?
Yeah, I'm going to push back a little bit. And the reason I'm going to push back is because look at who he is just outpacing. He's kind of outpacing plotting heavyweights, right? Nobody who's forcing him to wrestle. And when Ngannou forced him to wrestle, they were both tired after that, right? So that's my whole thing is if John Jones can clinch you up, if he could take you down, make you at least bat returns, make you work to get back up to your feet, are you going to still have that same bounce? Because Ciryl Gane, the thing about him that's so interesting, man, is he builds up. Like he starts off slow, but it's like I'm gonna kind of feel things out, and my explosiveness and intensity is gonna keep rising while yours is diminishing. Can you do that against a John Jones who you can't sit here and say, oh, can John Jones go 5 rounds? How many times has the man gone 5 rounds? How many title fights in a row did he? What are we talking about? But we do need to talk about AJ, the elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is this right here. Ciryl Gane. Pictures coming out talking about a ballooned up hand. The right hand, specifically the power hand, even though he is a switch fighter. So the question is going to become, are people going to start saying, oh, this is a rigged fight, Gane's injured, this is fake, or are we going to say a rare shout out that we don't do much these days here, AJ, but there's a guy that we do respect highly on this program. Would you like to take away? What are the findings?
Woo, Dr. Brian Shooter, shout out to you, man, because not only was he with the quickness of this, man, right when Twitter hit, you made a video within the hour breaking exactly down what this is. And this not only, yeah, sure, it was a previous injury, but Ciryl Gane went on the MMA Hour, went on everywhere and was talking about in his last fight, he had to have surgery. This is what that is. So it's not even a worrisome, man, especially at this point. You know he's been cracking things. You know he's been hitting the pads. That right there is more so of a plate, or it could be pins, could be something that's actually helping out. So don't take in the fact of the narrative that is out there that this could be a somewhat of a fix or something a little more tricky out there. And it's like DC was saying, don't take into the account the fact that Ciryl Gane doesn't train only when he's in, or he only trains when he's in fight camps. It's not true. Ciryl Gane's coming into game. There's a reason he's Bon Gamin, man. This dude is gaming out there. He will be ready for the fight. Don't fall for the narrative.
That's right. I think this whole thing has been a buildup. It's been back and forth stories, imagination. But when you break it down to its essence, man, yeah, Brian Suter was more or less saying that this isn't something that should be a massive concern. This isn't something that he envisions hindering Gane's performance. And as long as we can go and get a Gane that's as close to 100%, nobody's 100% when they get in the cage, right? You get as close as possible. We're going to have a good fight, man. I think it'll start off slow, but now let's talk about predictions. When in your life have you ever seen John Jones as a minus 165 favorite? Like if you're a John Jones bettor here, you're like, oh my God, I will smash this all day long. What are we talking about? So my question to you is, do you think the odds are fair? And then let's give our picks, brother. What do you think?
I think the odds are fair, but I also think you should jump on this because when the casual fans really start placing their bets, that favorite's going to swell. I'm surprised it's not like a minus 200, minus 300, somewhere in there, because those will go. I'm a little interested to see how these decisions or these props work out. That plus 650 seems a little juicy to me, just being, well, maybe not submission. I don't know. I was thinking because we're going to see him on the ground. Now, are you going to be able to finish Ciryl Gane on the ground? That's a little more likely than a stand-up KO. I don't know. Do you see the submission happening, Derek, that plus 650? You see any value there?
I see value in every single prop on here, brother, because I see different scenarios where I'm like, I can envision a decision, right? Just like a John Jones who hasn't been in the cage in a while. You know, we take it to a decision. He still has a solid performance and gets the dub. That's all you could ask for. But then again, he's also trying to make a statement. So I have two big questions. The number one is if he takes Gane down, can Gane get back up? Couldn't really do it against Ngannou. He opted to go for heel hooks instead of just trying to get back to his feet. Can he get back up against John Jones? John Jones has submitted some of the best fighters in the world, championship level fighters, and he submitted them with ease. Can he submit Gane? Yes. Can he knock out Gane, especially if he gets him to the ground with ground and pound? Yes, absolutely. What are we talking about here? Come on, elbows, spinning back elbows, all that stuff, man. So it's going to be a question of, can Ciryl Gane get back up if John Jones takes him down? Number 2 question is, how will Ciryl Gane's calf kick affect John Jones? And number 3, can John Jones land the oblique kick with success against Ciryl Gane? All of these lead to different props. I'm going to go straight with my heart right here, and I say John Jones gets it done via TKO. I envision a ground and pound scenario where he gets him out of there, just where Gane can't. Be smart. Don't beat him at his own game. Let's take a step back from that, John Jones, and let's just do what you do best. I want John Jones TKO victory, 3rd round. How do you see it?
Yeah, Derek, I can see it. It's one of the more likely ones. I'm surprised it's only 350. I'm actually going with that 650 submission, Derek. I think we're going to see the same thing. Ground and pound, take it down to the ground. Gane gives up his back, rear naked choke. John Jones, submission, round 2.
Round 2. All right. And there you have it. So I mean, it's hard, right? Because John Jones isn't ranked, and you can't say and still, but he never lost the belt. So it's like, I knew? Is it and new? I guess, man. But shoot, God, I'm so excited. This is going to be so fun. All right, let's go.